Hey guys, Prepare Mentality here. I have Verna here with us. She was on the ground in Minneapolis where this crisis happened. So Verna, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good.
Great.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome. So what was the atmosphere like when you were there?
Well, I was out of town when all this stuff happened, and I just got into town today. And what was seeing on social media and the news was a lot of the looting and the rioting that's happening. I am just several, miles from the area where this occurred,
Wow.
and my kids go to an inner city school in that area. And so that kind of hits home when
Yeah.
you hear that kind of stuff. And so today I wanted to go down there to pay my respects.
Yeah.
And so I was a little bit nervous because of just what I've been hearing and what I've been seeing,
Hmm.
and some of the places that are being, the looting that's going on there was a concern because those are places I've been to personally, that I go there occasionally.
Wow.
So I'm a little bit nervous about that. Um, and so I went there today just to make a stand uh,
Mhm.
for uh, for our Black community, and just justice for George Floyd.
Yeah.
So I went down there not knowing what to expect. And so I went there, and it was pretty calm. I saw a lot of people, a main group of people speaking
Okay.
right by the cup foods where all this thing had occurred.
Okay.
So there was people who were social distancing. People were wearing their mask.
Mhm.
Um, I wasn't really sure because I was like, is this going to get out of hand?
Mhm.
But what I learned today was this, this one particularly, I think there's several protests going on in the cities right now. I know there's one at the officer's house that killed, not shot, killed George, and then there's one by the third precinct of Minneapolis police department.
Right.
So this one to me seemed, granted I haven't been to the other two,
Mhm.
this one seemed peaceful
Okay.
because the people there were very calm,
Right.
and the people that were speaking were, saying some words that were uh, revolving around the subject of, justice. I noticed on one of the buildings there was a mural being painted
Okay.
in honor of George Floyd.
Mhm.
Um, there wasn't much. I don't think it was that crowded.
Mhm.
So as it was going on, I noticed a crowd kind of coming into the area,
Right.
and all of a sudden we saw some men, and Reverend Jesse Jackson appeared, which I had no idea he was going to be there.
Right.
And so, that was just really exciting. And um, his words were very comforting.
Mhm.
It was just saying that you are a child of God,
Yeah.
whatever color you are. He said, stop the violence,
Right.
stop the shooting,
Yeah.
stop the killing, keep the hope alive. Just those simple words that he said, and
Right.
people really responded to that. He also mentioned the things that are going on, the looting. He
Mhm.
said, we are not part of that, he
Wow.
said. And
Wow.
he said, that we are here for George Floyd and the justice for his family,
Right.
which was really good to hear because, I mean, I'm Native American. I see injustice of our people.
Right.
We have history of doing these kind of protests because of injustice or killing of Native people.
Mhm.
Um, it's really hard because we know that looting does. It's almost like, I think it was said to be a voice of the unheard.
Right.
I think that's what's occurring right now, and it's going into Minneapolis now. It's headed into St. Paul.
Mhm.
So as I drove to and from the protests, I noticed uh, 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 gas stations.
Hold on, Verna, you're breaking up a little bit here on us.
Okay, can you
Uh,
hear me now? I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yes, we are
What
good.
did I leave off? I can't remember where I left off.
I heard you say gas station. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think going to and from the gas station, just different gas stations or buildings, I've noticed they were being boarded up or they had been broken into already.
Okay.
So um, that was really hard. That was really sad to see. But overall, I think this protest I was at was I guess it was one of the peaceful ones of what I'm hearing and observing from news and social media.
Right.
I think what I wanted to show on social media was everyone is messaging me because I live here in Minneapolis, because my family's out in New Mexico. I
Okay.
have friends from all over the world on my social media. So they're messaging me, say, are you okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I said, yeah, I'm fine. Because they're seeing the looting, they're seeing the riots.
Right.
And so I wanted to share that this was a peaceful one,
Right.
and that the Reverend Jesse Jackson was there, and that was more of a calming spirit. And so
Right.
that's what I gained from that and saw today. Um, I also saw a lot of people. There was a lot of messages on the sidewalks, and a lot of the flowers and the things that were brought for George Floyd. I saw people with signs. Uh, so it was pretty calming. I didn't feel like I was threatened or any way. I felt like I was welcome. And the people who were in charge, I'm not sure who they were, but they said, say hi to the person next to you and, tell them why you're here. And so that was kind of cool, so
Hmm.
that you didn't feel like you were just kind of alone there.
Right.
But yeah, it was really empowering and very, I just felt like I left there knowing I made a stand
Yeah.
for, for this whole situation that just really breaks my heart.
Right.
That it has, that something like this has to happen for people to see, what's really going on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Wow. That's awesome to actually see it for yourself and to be there. So, are there anything that you and your family are taking precautions of in your city right now, as you go and travel to and from?
exactly. Today, my son was supposed to have his 8th grade like drive-through graduation, and like I said, our kid's school is in the area. So like today, we got a call saying they were going to postpone that due to the safety, which I totally do. That was probably a good idea.
Right.
Um, just I think where we live, I mean, we're close in a way, but we're not. We're far enough away that I feel like I'm not threatened.
Right.
Um, it's interesting how, even though I'm in Minneapolis, we consider it South Minneapolis. There's two parts of South Minneapolis,
Okay.
you know, and so I could just go 2 miles and the neighborhood changes, and that's kind of how it is.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, I think just seeing what happens in the next couple weeks or days, I guess,
Hmm.
avoiding going to that area,
Right.
and just being careful. And since the kids are not in school, that makes a big deal. We don't have to be traveling in that area. So
Right.
other than that, we'll just live our life and just hope for the best of all this.
That's all you can do. Was there any? What was the police presence like when you were there? Was it very
There was none there.
okay? Right.
There was none there. That maybe I saw maybe one,
Okay.
but like they blocked off that intersection,
Right.
and the barriers were not even police cars. They were more of someone's vehicle.
Okay.
So there wasn't anyone kind of like manning like the traffic in and out.
Right.
People seem to be following
Wow.
the rules. Yeah, so I didn't see any.
Wow.
But then as you drove further, I wanted to see the Target store that was being looted,
Hmm.
because that's by the Minneapolis police station. So I kind of drove over in that area, but it was traffic,
Okay.
and I considered going over there, but there was much more people there,
Mm.
and that is the area that is just buildings have been burned down.
Right.
And I felt like it's probably not a good idea for me to go there. So I felt like going to this one just made me feel a lot more at ease.
Right.
So yeah.
Now,
So yeah, I took
when
around.
when the looting and rioting started, were you and your family aware of it at the time?
Uh, yeah, we were out of town. We
Oh,
were actually in a secluded cabin. So, you
wow.
know, you just heard from news. So we heard it on the news.
Okay.
I mean, actually, I heard it from one of my sisters who texted me and said, people are looting into Target.
Yeah.
So then I had to Google it.
Mm.
And sure enough, it was the Target that I regularly go to. And I was like, oh my goodness. And so then from there, and I feel like I see it a lot on social media.
Mhm.
That's where I see a lot of
Right.
that and a lot of the rioting. So that's how I found out.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's crazy. I mean to really be in that area and kind of know it's in your backyard. I mean, per se. Uh, and so, what do you think going forward that the community needs to do, or your local government needs to do in response to all of this?
Oh, of what I've done my research of the police officer, I think one of them, the main guy, I can't remember his name exactly, but the one who murdered George, I think they've had situations where this has happened too.
Okay.
I heard of a Native American man
Mm.
killed in 2006.
Wow.
So, and I know being here and being involved in the Native community in Minneapolis, that there's always been a tension
Mm.
of Minneapolis police and the people of color.
Wow.
Uh, because in that area, it's the most diverse city in America, in
Right.
that one area. And so I knew there was always a tension there.
Mm.
So I'm hoping that somehow our mayor is really taking a stand saying that, something more has to be done.
Right.
So I'm thankful for that.
Mm.
And so I'm hoping that there's healing.
Yeah.
This area that has been looted has been built up nicely.
Mm.
And so to see this all destroyed,
Right.
really sad, because there are people there who rely on that Target, who rely on that Dollar Tree,
Right.
and who have to, because that now that unfortunate that's not going to be there. And
Yeah.
so I think that was just kind of one of the things I was thinking about,
Mm.
and that hopefully this won't be too long, because we know in history how some of these have lasted for weeks.
Right.
um,
Yeah.
and that people will see that this is not, that these are cries for help,
Mhm.
cries for justice. And I think even white people will see that,
Right.
because now I think just this whole thing is being criticized
Hmm.
of how it's being handled. And
Yeah.
yeah.
That's great. That's great insight. For those who don't know, Verna is founder of the Native Women Running. What got you into that in creating this organization?
Yes, I've been a runner, and I noticed one day I was doing my research that running magazines and running apparel and running podcasts were geared towards specific type of runners, meaning the white, cute, blonde, skinny, fit mom, run Boston every year.
Yeah.
And I saw, as I was scrolling through Instagram one day, I noticed there was no one that looked like me.
Mm.
And I I strongly believe that Native in general, Native runners
Mhm.
are underrepresented.
Mm.
And so I wanted to create a site or create this account so people can share their running journey
Right.
and see that we Native people are strong, resilient people,
Mhm.
and that we often use our running for healing.
Mm.
And it's been wonderful to see how positive and building a community online. And it's inspiring to everybody who runs a 5K, to someone who's running Boston, that we can celebrate these stories and say, we are here, we exist, and that we can do these things. So that's what inspired me. And so it's been 2 years and it's growing, and there's a lot of good things happening. So
Wow, that's awesome. So, how much is the representation there where you are, for Native Americans? Is that a pretty large population there, or?
yeah, I mean, the tribes up here, they're smaller.
Okay.
But growing up, because I'm from New Mexico and I'm Navajo,
Okay.
I feel like the Navajos is such a bigger population, that I feel like it's more represented there, but I think it's getting better here in Minnesota.
Okay.
And I think people are realizing, wow, there's, there's natives exist and they can run. So I
Yeah.
think it's getting better. It's slow because when you think about it, the running industry is $1 billion industry.
Yeah.
And, when you don't see someone that looks like you,
Mhm.
it kind of, you wonder who's on the board of these
Right.
running shoes and magazine apparel. Like,
Right.
so we want to change that. We want to change that. So
That's
yeah.
good. I mean, to say myself, I think you are a trailblazer
Oh, thank you.
for organizing this, because it's important for um, us to see our own in different
Yes.
magazines and TV and on social media, have good representations of us,
Yeah.
because it's hard to find.
Ex-
So if we're not doing it, then nobody else is going to do it for us. So I
Yeah.
commend you
So agree.
for doing that.
Thank
So
you.
what is your organization's next steps as far as events, or do you guys have anything coming up?
Well, we had a virtual run that we actually created before virtual runs are really popular now, because they're popular now. Um, was for murdered and missing Indigenous women, which
Wow.
is a crisis that is happening to our Indigenous women, that are the crimes against Native women are not being addressed or documented,
Okay.
because there's a lot of issues with jurisdiction of the tribal, the state, the federal.
Mm.
Um, we say that when a Native girl goes, when she disappears, she not only disappears in life, but
Mm.
she disappears in the media and in the data.
Right.
And so last year we created a virtual run where everyone wears red on May 5th. That's the National Day of Awareness. They wear red and they run as many miles on that day in honor of our stolen sisters, we say, um, and to not be silent anymore. And so
Yeah.
that is something we just did recently.
Okay.
And so, and I try to promote a lot of native runners everywhere, and the organizations that they're doing like races. So I'll share that on our website, or sharing the story. So
Right.
a lot of the stuff that I do is virtually, or sharing people's things. And so that's been kind of, it's a process because there's all these accounts and
Yeah.
trying to keep up with that. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's growing and I'm really happy. I mean, it's not just me I mean, I started it, but
Mhm.
it's all these women who play a big part in this, because they want to share it, they want this. So that's been really
That's awesome.
such a cool thing to see. So
Yeah. So for anybody who wants to get in contact with you, your website, your social media, where can they reach you?
basically you can reach me at we have a website, www.nativewomanrunning.com, which is pretty simple, or just direct message us on Instagram or Facebook on our account. So
Great, that's awesome. Well, thank you for having this conversation with me, and informing us about what's going on in your hometown.
yes,
Um, I pray that you guys are safe. Hope you guys stay safe, you and your family. Um, and yeah, definitely we will keep updated on what's going on there.
yes,
So guys, if you're listening, please check her out. Check out her website. Please support. Go to her social media pages: Facebook, Instagram, all that jazz. I hope you guys out there are safe. Hope you guys are healthy. Stay blessed. Bear mentality.